This man slept with everybody's wife. Can modern women handle commitment? The Baltasar Ebang Engonga scandal. Hello, people. Welcome to my channel. Skywalker here again. Here is another topic that is most compelling for me. It is a bit of a deep dive, a daring dive that challenges the norm, but unnecessary one as well. We must adjust to the modern changes that affect the modern world. Because of science and technology, truth comes to us whether we like it or not. The truth is that our modern women generally lack what it takes for marriage and fidelity. The marriage part might be fine for them, but fidelity, that's where the problem lies. Naturally, it will seem to a woman that promiscuity is no big deal. A woman will not mind choosing a man who goes with many women. For a man, there must be exclusivity. He looks at her less because she did too much with too many men. We have a lack of empathy where one party lacks the sensitivity necessary to see the pains of the other. A woman will commit paternity fraud but will not see why it's such a big deal to her man. You will never see a bunch of men laughing and making cruel jokes about a woman being sexually abused. But women will be gleeful about paternity fraud and even congratulate the woman that committed it. She feels like he should simply take the child as his own. But many women who get pregnant after being sexually violated feel like they need to abort the child. They will never accept that paternity fraud to a man equates a woman being sexually abused by an evil man. Until this day, women cannot figure that out. Instead, they expect the men to see the joke in it. Now, have you heard about the case of Engonga of Equatorial Guinea? Baltasar Ebang Engonga, the Director General of Equatorial Guinea's National Financial Investigation Agency (ANIF), is at the center of a major scandal. During a routine fraud investigation, over 400 illicit videos were discovered on his computer, showing him in intimate encounters with multiple individuals, including the wives of senior government officials. In fact, it was with at least 300 women and possibly over 300 women and possibly over 400. The fact that these women were such close acquaintances, married to people in his circle, should say a lot about female promiscuity, especially on a continent that sees it as one of the worst sins to commit. Imagine a country like Jamaica where people, even women, are more casual about the idea. The videos depict Engonga in compromising situations with various women, including high profile individuals like his brother's wife, a cousin, and a relative of the president. The leak of these videos has sparked widespread outrage and debate on, on social media. Many have criticized the ethical standards of a high ranking public official engaging in such activities. The Attorney General's office has launched an official investigation into the circumstances surrounding the video leak. Authorities are assessing whether Ngonga's actions may have posed health risks, which could result in additional charges. After over 3 or 400 women with unprotected sex, as it were, what are the possibilities of a health risk? Huh? He could be spreading something around, couldn't he? Engonga has been dismissed from his position at ANIF. The government has emphasized the need for accountability among public officials and is considering stricter privacy laws to prevent similar incidents in the future. They were thinking about putting cameras in certain offices, but some people are resisting, citing the invasion of privacy as a attacking point. The leak highlighted the need for stronger data protection measures to protect the privacy of individuals against things like video leaks, etc. There, there were some suggestions that he also had two children with his brother's wife. Nganga has six children with his wife, who is said to be extremely beautiful. Many people believe that it will not affect the relationship with her. That's the difference between a man and a woman, exposing their different reasons to be in or to stay in a relationship. No material possession would make a man want to stay. Men and women are fundamentally different in how they make relationship choices. Our philosophies about life and societal norms should be re-evaluated to make sure that everyone are on the same page. The Baltazar Ibanga Engonga scandal is a significant event that has brought to light critical issues regarding ethics, privacy, and public trust in Equatorial Guinea. The ongoing investigation and government response will be crucial in addressing these concerns and restoring confidence in institutions. Peeps, peeps. After looking at this case, I will say much based on facts and observation. I speak in general about men and women, but if you don't think it applies to you, it is because you are an individual and individuals can be different from the norm. What one size doesn't always fit all. Unlike most people, not everything the society considers as bad is bad in my book. We are all humans with human nature. Natural tendencies are not bad. It is what it is. Sometimes the society will try to carve us to fit its mold instead of carving this mold around us. Many women might feel offended if you tell them the truth about their own nature. A few will analyze and agree or disagree. It does not mean that all women are the same. We all have our minds to choose and adjust, and this supersedes emotions or feelings. Still, we must make the general rules fit the norm instead of the few. We are God-like beings who can act upon deliberate choices rather than feelings. It's just that women find it more difficult to rule their emotions than men. Or maybe they choose to be more materialistic. It's a lot of variations. It is It is difficult for a woman to see from a man's perspective, so she chooses a reality and ascribes it to the men. This is why women will say men want so and so when it is the opposite of what men want. And if you, as a man, is there to speak for yourself, they will try to bully you into accepting that definition of yourself because it suits their agenda. Just like women insist that men don't prefer natural looks and hate falls here. A woman will cheat with a man and then believe that he thinks highly of her and that he will wish to have a committed relationship with her when she separates from her man, the man she cheated on. Men don't want promiscuous women. By cheating with him, she already gave him a reason to run away from her. A woman, on the other hand, might choose the man who cheated with her. There are these fundamental differences. Maybe some of these traits are natural, and then again, maybe they are subcultural norms. And the latter idea seems more real because more and more these men that grew with their single mothers are behaving more like women in their decisions. Whatever the reason for these differences, they need not be overwhelming issues for man woman relationships. We need to take these realities and align with the truth about what we expect from each other going forward. We can't continue to live in a fantasy, for the truth comes out daily and debunks it. We must build the future around truth and not confinement and pretense. We cannot keep forcing men or women to give what is not natural for them to give. Or we must create a more inclusive mindset to appreciate those that chose different ways to do family, whether they stay single and co-parent or they marry and stick it out. Whatever one chooses, it must be an agreement with the other, and both must stick to his or her agreement. Going into the future, many things must and will change. What presently gives is not compatible to all and sundries. Remember, things will have to change. Most women are cheating with the same few men that are womanizers. Most women cheat with the same few men that are womanizers. Contrary, contrary to popular belief, many men do not have to cheat. They only need to have a working family. However, most men can do well without codependent relationships. This is the truth society fails to admit because it goes against their one size fits all fantasy of marriage and misery. Marital relationships is almost tantamount to the idea of owning another person. This is not said in a bad way. It simply means that it takes a lot of sensitivity, truth, and cooperation. Anything will work depending on the parties involved. The problem is that there needs to be freedom to choose without being stereotyped. I saw an Oral Tracy video where he said that a man who does not have a personal woman has to be homosexual. That was the highest level of ignorance I had ever seen or heard. And homosexual is a man who has intimate relationships with men. It is not a man who does not commit to a particular woman. Both are different scenarios. It was the first dumb thing I heard from Tracy before the floodgates were opened. The main aim of our society is simply to love, to insulate, and to protect our children, to farm the next generation. Human nature is human nature, and society is not human nature. Sometimes our problem is because society did not take human nature into consideration when building society. Sometimes we depend on religion and superstition as our truth, our modus operandi, but these are not sciences. Being a believer did not make Bedouin the prophet right for going against the grain of science. Codependency in terms of marriage is not the only way. Co-parenting Co-parenting works just fine if properly done. I believe that this is what the future will look like, and more truth will then be told, especially by women. Freedom is highly underrated today. We must remove the veils. Free people are isolated because of taboo, but they are the happy ones. Because of science, as we know have cameras and paternity tests. We must now figure out how to create conditions where both men and women can be true to themselves and each other. Women, especially, now live a lie and pretend that this is what I want when it's not. Well, women do have a tendency to say it is what it is not. She puts on something that looks like a universal sex call, asks your opinion, and if you say the truth, she insists to wear it anyway. Then, a week later, she will tell you, insisting that she wears it because it is what men want, and that includes you too. You who had the farmer conversation after telling her that you don't like it. She will even say that you wanted her to wear it. These are signs of someone restricted from being herself. She wants to go out there and dress for other men to see her. She is promiscuous at heart and exhibits the nature in front of even her husband. But when she speaks, she uses reaction formation psychology in a bid to not say the truth, and we are not willing to call out the obvious. I think that 90% of women do. 90% that show that side. 90% people. She wears it to make other men see her and for no other reason. She isn't wearing it for herself because she cannot look at herself. If she did not already claim to be committed to one man, she would have told him the truth. That when she goes to the street, she gets recognized by other men, and it makes her feel good to know she can do someone else if she or when she is ready. She is so desperate for that ratification that she exposes as much as possible to make sure it will attract the stranger. This is the truth, and for some reason, we all know, but we pretend. We all pretend and fantasize. The future cannot be as much as a lie as we do today. Give her freedom to tell you the truth, and you will find out who she is and what you cannot ever get from her: true commitment. A man will be stable, but a woman will be bored. Of course, not all women are the same, but the minority should not make the norm. Okay? Contrary to what many believe, men lean more towards the spiritual, but women are more material. A man will want to stick it out in hard times, but a woman will move on to find it ready made and ready done somewhere else. Most marriages will fail when women don't support the family working together, but instead remain distracted by what happens outside. There are no spiritual soul connections to any relationship for her, like love, for example. There might be permanent emotional attachments, but this is secondary and not the same as love. Women stay attached to every man they knew. Contrary to a woman's belief, men are generally different in that way. The woman's exes and baby fathers know that too, and it is one of the reasons why many men fear single mothers and promiscuous women. For women, it is simply about material gains or experiences. They will get bored no matter what, but they never completely drop any man. They still keep them all in the loop, and the list only gets longer. Here is a question to ponder. If Ibanga's personal circle saw him engaging with up to over 400 women, how many women turned down his offer? I remember teaming up with some brethren and doing this experiment as a 19-year-old, and they won't usually turn you down, not your friend's girlfriend. This was one of the worst culture shocks we experienced because we thought that girls were more honest, strict on integrity, and less promiscuous. That is what they taught us in school, and these are all the things they teach us from we were a child. That boys were dirty and girls were princesses. Boys were like beasts and dogs and all that. The idea was parked when I told them, or I told my friends. I mean, the idea of us doing this research, or call it a research or a experiment. It was an experiment. The idea was sparked when I told them that some Canadian researchers claimed that Jamaican women were more promiscuous than Jamaican men. That was around 1983 or 84. But we actually tested it out in around 85. What is fidelity? Fidelity refers to the quality of being faithful or loyal to a person, cause, or belief. It encompasses steadfast devotion and accuracy in following through with commitments and promises. In the context of relationships, fidelity usually means being sexually exclusive with one partner and not engaging in infidelity. And that sexual exclusivity is what men always want. It's a term that underscores the importance of trust and consistency in various aspects of life. Women will never embrace a commitment in full. They will make one, but they will easily opt back out simply because they are bored and they have options. They are so malleable because those options are always open. Even while they claim to be committed, that's why they remain malleable. Baltasar Engonga does only what the preachers do in the church all day. Some men that find this out about women become womanizers. A limited number of womanizers make all men become dogs to society. But a vast majority of women make what? It makes them more innocent. It took one cheating man, but over 400 cheating women, like as the preacher will do. Doesn't this show up the belief in traditional family life, marriage as the way to raise families? Are we not living in a world of pretense where most women are too promiscuous to commit but are forced to commit because of family life culture of marriage? Shouldn't we revisit the issue of what a viable family structure um or what is a viable family structure in a way that rules out codependency as best as possible? No one should have to be lying about fidelity and cheating behind the back of the other because of their inability to commit to something not within their nature. Maybe we should seek out ways to raise children without trapping their parents in commitment or codependency on each other. Maybe this has always been the case, but we as humans pretended, or maybe the times have changed, culture has changed, and we must adapt to the new. What do you think? Recognizing and validating diverse family structures such as single parent families, co parenting arrangements, and communal living can provide more flexibility and support for individuals who may not fit into the traditional mold. Encouraging open and honest communication about expectations and commitments can help reduce the pressure to conform to traditional roles and reduce instances of infidelity and deceit. Building strong community support systems can help alleviate the burden of raising children and reduce the dependency on a single partner. This can include extended family, friends, and community resources. Promoting education about healthy relationship, consent, and personal boundaries can empower individuals to make informed choices that align with their true nature and values. As cultures evolve, so too should our understanding of family and relationships. Embracing change and adapting to new norms can help create a more inclusive and supportive society. It's a complex issue with no one size fits all solution, I know, but fostering a more inclusive and understanding approach to family life can certainly help address some of the challenges. Encouraging co parenting arrangements where both parents are actively involved in their child's life can provide a more stable and supportive environment. Enhancing support systems for single mothers, such as community programs, mentorship opportunities, and financial assistance, can help mitigate some of the challenges they face. Why we emphasize single mothers and not fathers here is because the children of single mothers are usually the ones that become problem teens and adults in the society. This is where much of our crime comes from. The children of single fathers, both boys and girls, are usually less problematic. They usually turn out fine. Providing single mothers with access to education and job training can improve their economic stability and, in turn, the well being of their children. Promoting positive male role models and father figures within the community can help children develop a balanced perspective and reduce the reliance on single parenting. Addressing the root causes of crime, such as poverty and lack of opportunities, through holistic community development programs can create a more supportive environment for all families. It's essential to approach this issue with empathy and understanding, recognizing that every family is unique. By providing comprehensive support and creating an environment where all parents, regardless of their marital status, can thrive, we can help ensure better outcomes for children. All the women go after just a few men. But to the nation, it appears as if, for example, 400 women went to 400 men. Moreover, it was not because of financial needs, because some of these women were married to powerful individuals. One witness said that the women seemed unbothered by the fact that they were being recorded. The traditional model of marriage does place certain pressures on individuals to conform to roles that may not suit everyone. Societal expectations are slowly shifting to recognize and validate different lifestyles. The idea that marriage is the only path to a fulfilling life is being questioned, and alternative living arrangements are gaining more acceptance. It's crucial to respect individual choices. If some people find fulfillment in remaining single or opting for non traditional relationships, society should support those choices without judgment. Removing the stigma association with being single or choosing alternative family structures can help create a more inclusive and understanding society. The ultimate goal should be the well being and happiness of individuals, whether they find that within a traditional marriage or through other means. It's important to continue these discussions and explore ways to accommodate diverse structures. A healthy society is one where people feel free to live authentically and happily. What are your thoughts on moving this conversation forward in your community? Think on these things, my people. Peace out.